You've never seen anything like it before. Open 24 hours a day. Concert tees! I can't wait to wear my new rocking gear I got from Concert Tees. Leggings, accessories, tees. I want to see all my friends rocking the rockin'est outfits from Concert Tees. Online, online, online. Free shipping as always. Shirts as low as $8. Don't wait and get yours today at concerttees.com.
Are you ready to rock out with Teaser Talk? A podcast full of music, fashion, humor, and randomness. Here are your hosts, Donna and Holly.
Hey everyone, hope you are having the most rad day ever. It's Holly and Donna here to drop the second podcast, and we couldn't be more excited.
Right, as promised, we are bringing you an exclusive interview. We were able to sit with Jamey Jasta at the Warped Tour a few weeks ago, and we're really excited to share that with you.
Yes, absolutely. So before we hop into the interview, we just wanted to kind of give you guys a couple of notes and behind-the-scenes commentary. So first and foremost, shout out to Jamey. He was a trooper. He met with us after we baked in the sun, 110-degree temperature for about 6 hours in places we didn't know we were going to sweat in. Eyeliner, my eyeliner was non-existent at this point, and I'm pretty sure we didn't smell the best. So shout out to him for actually taking the time and sitting down with us. So what would you say, Donna, what were you most impressed with by him?
So he was just so down to earth. We are doing this interview, and, he answered all the questions that we had, and he was totally into it. But as soon as we were done, he was really just ready to feed us some fudge that he got from a fan. And while we were setting up to interview him, we had a random fan come up. It was really cool to just watch how down to earth, and he said hi to him, and I honestly thought it was someone he knew the way he communicated with them. And then when that fan walked away, he explained to us that he had things like that happen to him all the time. The way he handled it was just really down to earth and awesome.
Yes, I thought it was somebody he had known too, because the guy had walked up and was like, "Hey man, like, you want to hang out?" Or I can't remember exactly what he was saying to him, but Jamey was just like, "Yeah, I think we're just about to do this interview or whatever," and just really nice and cordial. And I was like, "Okay, cool, it's somebody he knows." And then, like you had said, he had said, "Yeah, just a heads up that this was going to happen," because we actually had done this interview right behind our tour bus. So, again, kudos to him for not only meeting with us, but actually joining us in that heat after he'd already played in it, and sitting outside and speaking with him. That's why, just to give you guys a heads up, too, that the audio is going to be a little bit scrambled and might be a little bit hard to listen to, along with the wind, the sounds. There was a guy on this little miniature motorbike buzzing around every now and then, so it was pretty entertaining. But just to give you guys a heads up, audio quality of the interview. Donna, is there anything else you want to say before we get this played?
I don't think so. Just be ready for an awesome interview, and there are more to come. So if you like it, make sure you tune in for our next podcast.
Hey everyone, so I'm here with the one and only Jamey Jasta. So you have a lot of things going on, obviously with Hey-Free, that you have Hey-Wear, the Jasta Show. And I just wanted to start this interview by voicing my admiration on how positive you are and how motivational you are, that vibe that you put out to the world. So it's interesting because, doing some research on you and finding out, growing up, where you grew up and where you come from, and I can speak from personal experience because I feel like I grew up on the other side of the tracks, if you will. And it's so easy to play victim and walk around with your victim glasses on. But I feel like that you don't do that, and I applaud you for that. So, what would you say? What would you say is your motivates you to do that and keep you positive?
Oh, well, I'm from Connecticut. We're kind of smack dab in between New York and Boston. So not a lot of people make it out of Connecticut, in the entertainment world or the music world, or even to a certain extent in sports, or even in the corporate world. I didn't have anybody that laid a blueprint. So I knew, looking at kind of the situation with my family and looking at the situation with people going to high school and college, there wasn't a lot of options. Some people I knew, they enlisted in the Army or the Navy or the Marines or the Coast Guard. Some people went and worked for their families' businesses or went and, you know, got a GED like me. And so I knew early on that I liked music. My mother was like, you can't practice in the garage. You can't, like, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. And actually, you know, now I'm very close with my mother, and she feels bad about that. So I probably shouldn't even say that, but in a way, like, she wasn't the only one that didn't believe in me. Bands I would wait outside to meet and give my demo to, like all these record labels that turned us down, they didn't believe in me, but I believed in myself, and I believed in the guys, you know, no matter what the lineup was back then. I believed in our music and our message, and so it sounds cliche, but it has to start within yourself. Like, if it feels like work and you don't want to do it, it might not be your passion. So, but like, if you find something that you're really like passionate about that doesn't feel like work, and you can make it profitable in your life, then you can have more options. You can reinvest in yourself, and you don't have to rely on anybody. Like, that's the beauty of Hatebreed. We don't have to rely on any record labels or any trends. Like, we've seen all the trends come and go, and we're still around. Yeah. And like, this year was one of our biggest years. So not a lot of bands can say that, like, 23 years in. So we're just, I guess that's a motivational thing too, right? Because then once you achieve certain things, you don't want to be like complacent.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting too, because you think about like bands. I feel like, you know, a lot of bands come out trying to be trendy, but if you stick to New York, I feel like you guys have the same sound and message and passion as you did, you know, way back when. So like, how many years have you been performing? It's been a long time. I started my first band when I was like 13, and I think we played our first show in the summer, like before my 14th birthday. So I'm 39 now. So yeah, I've been playing shows and setting up shows and booking tours and playing festivals. And I even set up a couple festivals back in the day. I set up a festival in Albany called the Aggressive Music Festival, like, where I booked Slipknot, Slayer, and I was on the promoter end of things too. So that's another thing, like, having seen different aspects of the industry and of the business, like, I can sort of empathize with everybody. Yeah. One thing that's like fascinating for me too is like watching you, like when you get on the stage, like you're passionate, like you said, you love what you do, right? But a lot of bands, like, they love what they do, but once they get to that point to where they're on the radio, where they're recognized, it's almost like they avoid, like they hate going on tour, they hate performing just for the fact that they're underneath the spectacle of everybody. Everybody's watching them, listening to them. Like, they don't want their fans approaching them. Not that they're being rude, but it's just, you know, maybe it's the personality. Like, what would you think is the reason for that?
Well, like, for somebody who's a huge star like Andy Black or something, I can see how it can be emotionally draining. We were never as on as many like magazine covers and doing as much as he was doing, but there was a time where I was on TV, and people treat you differently, and it does become a drag because you just, you know, like, Andy's just like everybody else. He gets up off the bus and he just wants to go to that toilet and take a shit, that porta potty there that is fucking like 150 degrees right now. And he's got to talk to like 50 people from the bus to that fucking porta potty. And I remember that being like that in like on Ozfest, and like where even the local crew, like the local stagehand wants a picture, and then the security guy wants a picture, whatever. And so I feel for some of the bands, but we, like, I guess, I don't know, survived like the peaks and the valleys, where now if I'm going to take a shit and someone wants a picture, I'm like, yeah, why not?
Well, and also say you're like very approachable too, right? Not
yeah,
everyone should go on approach.
Right, no, I mean, like, Craig from Sick of It All was telling me the other day, I guess, like, after you've listened to music, I guess this is proven, like, scientists prove this, or doctors prove this. I guess after you listen to music at a certain dB level, like on stage, we're really fucking loud. Yeah. And I'm right by Wayne's amp, and I'm right by Chris's amp, and I'm right by the drums. So I guess if you listen to music, like, too loud, for like 20 minutes afterwards, you're what they call technically punch drunk from the vibrations and the dB, like the decibels. So I noticed that, like, when I go to the signing, like today we went right to the signing, it's 104 degrees. People are talking to me and my brain is garbage. I can't fucking make a word out. they can't get the camera right, and I'm like, I must be coming off like I'm so irritable.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, figure it out. Whatever you want to do, we're gonna fucking do it, but fucking figure it out. Like, and then people are looking at me like, what? But I'm like, well, we literally got off stage. We fucking, plus, it's like our therapy. So when you get off stage and you just poured your heart and soul out, like, we relive what made the songs every time we play them.
Yeah.
Some people, their songs are written by other people, so they have no emotional connection to them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, hopefully I wasn't too irritable today in Dallas and the 104 degree.
This will be your viral apology.
There you go, yeah. Make it go viral.
Yeah. So, now you've been in the scene for a while, obviously. Like you said, you've been playing since you've been 14. What have you seen evolve and change over the years?
Mainly just metal and punk and hardcore is so much more inclusive now, which is great. Every day I talk to someone who feels marginalized and who feels like an outsider, and they say that our music helps them, and that's like the most rewarding thing, especially on Warped Tour, where if you were watching today and I said, how many people are seeing us for the first time? It's like over half the audience.
Yeah.
There's young kids and stuff, and they're screaming and waving, and it's a beautiful thing because, I mean, I see a lot. Like at the signing today, there's a girl who's like, her whole arm was scars. And I know that. I've dealt very closely with that, and I've even myself have been somewhat addicted to pain.
Yeah.
Or that feeling of, you know, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And so, and this girl's probably like 16 or 17 years old, and that's the main difference I see, is that when we were kids, we always would play with older bands, or we would play to an older audience. Like we toured with Motorhead and stuff, or we toured with Ozzy and original Black Sabbath and Slayer and Judas Priest. So we were always like that young band trying to win over older fans.
Yep.
And now we're like the sort of middle of the road age band playing to younger fans. I mean, obviously there's much older bands than us on this tour, like Adolescence and Sick of It All and TSOL and Guar, but so those were bands like I grew up listening to and that I looked up to. And so since we're in that middle range, that's the main difference I see. And then also, being from the inner city, we had people of all different ethnicities and races and religion. But when I would travel to Kansas, to Nebraska, to Wisconsin or Minnesota or North Dakota, it wouldn't be as diverse in the early days. Whereas now, every day you can see today, like, it's blacks, it's Asians, it's Hispanics, Latinos, whatever. And that is really important because I think for too long, heavy metal, hardcore, punk rock, it was just too dominated by sort of suburban white culture, and now we're experiencing a really diverse mix of people, which I think it makes it better for everybody.
Absolutely, I agree. That's pretty cool.
And transgender, I remember when I was a kid, I knew someone who was transgender. It was very hard for them. Now, almost every signing, someone is identifying as transgender, and they are openly being who they want to be without such intense scrutiny, and that's a good thing too.
That's awesome. So you said, touring with the people that you looked up to, how does that feel?
It's great. And you know what? I busted Pete from Sigma was on my podcast, and I was breaking his bones about their singer Lou being grouchy. Sorry, Lou, he's great. Actually, the first day, or the second day, this was after I did the podcast, I saw him and he was super talkative and was like, said hello and introduced me to his daughter and stuff, and so that was cool because I always feel like I'm just like being a fanboy, like bothering people. And in the past, we had taken them on tour and stuff, and I always felt like I don't want to bother them, just don't want to be like a fanboy or a punisher, as I like to say. And but then I've seen him like 10 times on this tour, and he's always been super nice and like in a good mood. So that was cool to see.
Well, I'm sure you weren't like, will you sign my CD?
No, but I'm sure back in the day I was probably like, why don't you play this song? Why don't you do this? Why don't you take this band? You know what I mean? Like, you get it. People got to do their own thing, and they got to go off, and being a road dog like that is You have to be a different type of person to be a road dog like that.
So we talked about like what you saw has like evolved or changed. What do you see in the scene that's been the same, that's been consistently the same? You know, from a perspective.
For better or for worse?
Well, think from a perspective like, so like say a new band's listening to this. You obviously want to be aware of like what's changing and adapt, but you also want to bet your odds on what's stable and stability, right? So bet your odds on something that's not changing. What would you say that's for the good?
Well, I mean, for the good is like people are finally kind of accepting that hardcore and metal are kind of one and the same. Maybe the metal stuff is a little more technical with the proficiency and the playing, and it's more I don't want to say involved, but maybe it's just more thought out, whereas hardcore punk rock used to be sort of more emotional and more sort of charged with like testosterone and adrenaline and things that, you know, we weren't worrying about the little licks and the little noodling and the solos and stuff. But like you look at a band like Knock Loose, who to me they sound like almost death metal, but that's like considered like hardcore. And that's a great band with a very like really abrasive, like high-pitched sort of screamer, and they're reaching a lot of kids. So I think that that's cool to see that it's the same in the sense where people are open to those more aggressive vocals, but just on a little bit of a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Like I think a band like that, if they had came out 10 years or 15 years ago, I don't know if people would have been as open to those types of vocals, which I like those vocals, but you know, that's like a big part of why people say they don't like hardcore and punk is the vocals.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like when someone has a charged up voice and it sounds like they're losing their mind. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, you've done TV, you've done the TV show, you have currently the podcast, the show, Hey Free. Do you see any like horror films or any acting in your future?
No, I've been in 2 movies, and I hope no one ever gets a chance to see them. One of them, they edited the fuck out of me out of it. Like, I was on the, you know, they say like the cutting room floor. I'm on the cutting room floor. But it was good because I didn't know how to drive stick at the time, which a lot of people still break my balls about. But I could drive stick now. I just don't choose to. I know if I get like a muscle car, which I've talked about a lot, I might get a muscle car. In that case, I'm gonna have to get my stick shift skills better. But like, it was so bad, the scene, like they had to cut it out because I'm in like a Mini Cooper. And the whole time that I was on both film sets, the first time I got the call, my A&R guy, Shinji Suzuki, shout out to Shinji, used to be at Universal. First time I got the call that I got the job at MTV2, so that was a great day, and I always remember that. But I remember sitting there going, and I won't say what I got paid. It wasn't bad, but for an entire day where we could go play a show where I could do a podcast and make like 10 times that, I thought, why the fuck do actors do this? And then, like, if you don't reach a certain level, like in music, you can reach a level of like a Hatebreed or a, I guess on a Warped Tour like this, I guess you could say like a Noir. That's like a legacy band, like a touring road dog band where they're revered.
Yeah.
In acting, if you don't get to a certain level, people like openly shit on you. Like, and I know they do that to musicians too, but not like legacy musicians who have survived. Like, they do it to like young bands that they're being haters of. You know what I mean? Like, they'll shit on like some young, hot, handsome band.
Yeah.
Or some like really pretty girl who's a front woman or something.
Yeah.
They'll shit on those people. But like in acting, like, if you're like Tara Reid, like everybody's like shitting on you, like, oh, she did American Pie. You know what I mean? Like, act, and then you go, well, all you do is sit around all fucking day waiting to shoot these. I don't know. Acting just seems like a really fucking bad gig.
Well, where do you see your career heading, like in the next 10 years?
Well, we're booked. Like okay. So you know how like Marvel? Actually, I probably shouldn't. Well, all right. You know how Marvel has like everything like 2024. Like, that's like what we do.
That's awesome.
So, like, we put out a coverage record in 2009. So that's coming up on the 10-year anniversary. So we'll do like, and also the first record in November is the 20th anniversary. And then the second record is like the 15th anniversary. So like we have like all this touring booked, and then we have like the next cover record, and then the next studio album, and so yeah, so we're like 6 out of those 10 years there's like stuff planned.
Well, I'm sure you're probably living so far in the future on some of those planning days that you're like, what year is it?
Right, because like the studio album came out in 2016. Ideally, I'd like to put out a studio album in 2018, but then we could do the covers record or the re-records or whatever. I don't know. We have a lot of options, but yeah, it's not all like completely mapped out, but it's like tentatively mapped out until like 2022 or something.
That's awesome. So, like we've talked many times, you have the Jasta show. Can you let those who haven't listened to your podcast know what they're missing out on?
Yeah, it's not like regular interview style. It's just like stupid discussion. Most of the time, it goes off into like insanity. Sometimes we get spacey. Sometimes it's business talk. Like if Brent from Mastodon is on, we get like real spacey and weird. Or if like George from Cannibal Corpse is on, we'll talk about like all sorts of different silly stuff. It's just a good time. It's fun. I like podcasts. I like being a fly on the wall. And plus, I'm a very sort of, I guess, anti-social person when I'm off the road. So doing the podcast forces me to be social, deal with social anxiety, and deal with listening.
Yeah.
Because in the early days, if you go back into like my archives, I would just be like, I have to get this thought out. Now I'm like, I want to hear their thoughts. So I guess it's like, it's everything in life is a push and pull, right?
Yeah.
Like my mother is like big into like astrology, and she's always like and a lot of this stuff is like pretty like spot on.
Yeah.
But like it's a push and a pull, like the planets, the sun, the moon, the ocean, everything is a push and a pull. So like a podcast is like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, I don't know, now we're getting real spacey.
Yeah, that's an example, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. But like I was telling you before we started this interview, is like I have such a deep personality. Like I'm like, just, tell me straight on. I don't read contracts when I sign them. Like, whatever. But sitting through your podcast for an hour and a half, which I was like starting to push play, I was like, oh shit, hour and a half. Like this is gonna be brutal.
Big commitment.
I sit there and listen to, I don't know how many I burned through in a day. I was,
nice.
Working and stuff, but I was just like, hearing in the background. And you were right. Like I was taking notes, like thinking like business wise. I was like, that's awesome. But then there's just part times where I just laugh like like what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah,
so it's
silly,
awesome.
yeah.
I will say definitely people are missing out on it.
Well, I said to Kevin today, Kevin who does the whole work tour and everything, I said, hey, I said some things on the podcast. I just want to say them to you first before you hear them on the podcast. And like, that's one thing that now I'm definitely more aware of. Like the fact that what I say sometimes carries weight and can either bum people out or people will be like feeling like maybe I shouldn't have said certain business stuff out.
Yeah.
But like all I said was I felt like not capitalizing on like I Prevail having a hit song, us and Attila having a little like moment. I mean, they're on their 7th album, we're on our like 8th album or whatever. And then also Guar being the legacy band. I really felt like as Andy as the headliner, and then I Prevail with a radio hit, and then Beartooth with a radio hit, like that was a lost opportunity because this is very much like a Mayhem Fest, and those Mayhem Fest people don't even know that like us and Guar and Attila and Beartooth and these bands are on it because it's in such small print and the focus is kind of on like the Valiant Comics, and I even felt bad about, I was like, oh shit, I hope Valiant Comics doesn't think I was like shitting on their art, because the art was amazing and everything. I just feel like when you see that program, if you saw like Ash from New Year's Day's face and Andy's face, or like, maybe Beefcake or someone from Guar or someone from Beartooth or our band or Attila, maybe then the kids would look at the logos like we used to look at the old flyers. Yeah. Because even today, like a huge Facebook fan page hit me up and said, you're in Dallas? And this is a Facebook with like 1 million fans that is catering to the metal audience because they don't check on Warped Tour. It's not.
And it's like marketing too to their targeted audience. Like that's great for those. Like I feel like there's just different audiences. So like also it's marketing too. Thinking about it.
Well, and also like, look, if it's not broke, If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And Kevin's done this, has a strong brand. He's done it for 23 years. And this year just being a little bit smaller, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I guess it's all after the fact anyways, and I just want to clarify that I have nothing but like respect for everybody on the tour and all the bands. I mean, there's bands that surprise me every day. Like today, I finally got to see some of Silverstein because we were signing while they were playing, and he does a podcast. The singer of Silverstein does a podcast, and like the band is great, and that's like a band they're a legacy band. They've been around for years and years and years, and they sounded great. And you know, these fans of the heavier bands like Guar and Hatebreed and Amir and Acacia Strain and Knock Loose are checking out those style of bands and are going, wow, I should give this a chance too, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool too, because like there's bands that I didn't know existed until today, and you know, I would never have found them if it wasn't for, you know, bands like you guys bringing me and attracting me here.
Well, yeah, like Fire from the Gods, I think they're called. They were great. This band Trophy Eyes are more kind of like rock, I don't know, Screamo. They were really good. There's a bunch of really... New Year's Day, I'm opening for them October 7th. My other band, Jasta, is going to open for them. And that's so refreshing to see, like, just young people who are into heavy rock, and they don't care about the scene. They don't care about... It's not a social event. They're here to see New Year's Day and see Ash, and they really connect with the music, and that's what I really like.
Yeah.
I like that. Coming from that world where hardcore and punk shows were more sort of a social event and not sort of a celebration of the band.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of fans that do celebrate the bands, but this is a moment for those bands. I Prevail, New Year's Day, Beartooth, Andy Black. They're having their moment, and their fans are super into what they do.
Yeah, very cool. So people who aren't subscribed to your podcast, how do they get connected?
All right, so they can go to gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use the code JASTA because that means I get a single subscription, and then the company knows. I mean, I'm part owner of the company. Shout out to Ralph and Lewis and Big J and everybody. There's a bunch of cool podcasts on the network, and we brought in Michael Buffer from the UFC. I'm sorry, Bruce Buffer. Sorry. Michael is his brother who does boxing, right? And Bruce is the UFC. Bruce is UFC, and Michael Bisping, middleweight champion. He's got a podcast now on the network too. So we're growing. But yeah, gasdigitalnetwork.com. There's over 270 episodes. Like there are 265 episodes in the archive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because like I was listening to it on iTunes, and I would always hear you talk about it or whatever. And I was like, okay, well then there was like an episode that I wanted to listen to, and I'm like, man. So I went down and subscribed to it just so I could hear it. Right?
Thank you. That's
so
great.
I can see definitely the benefit of subscribing in and getting that access.
And hopefully it'll grow. Like they are going to let me bring in other podcasts, and hopefully like I will help develop new podcasts and scripted podcasts. I love scripted podcasts like Hardcore History, and there's a bunch that are out there that are great. I would like to maybe even executive produce some scripted podcasts too, because there's a lot of writers that are brilliant that don't have any of their stuff available as like audiobooks or as podcasts.
Very cool. Well, any last words for fans?
No, just thanks to everybody who caught us this summer. I really did mean it, like when I said, hey, we're not coming back to a lot of these cities.
Yeah.
By the time this gets up on YouTube or on your page or whatever, maybe we'll have announced the fall tour. But yeah, the time frame is tough.
Yeah.
And we are going to Europe in January. So, like, I really do appreciate everybody who came out here, stuck through our set, like through the heat, stuck it out with us, came to the signing, waited in line for 100 people, 150 people, whatever, and then also came to the live podcast like you guys did. Thank you so much. And yeah, we don't get to do a lot of summer tours because we're always in Europe, so I'm just happy that this is the first like Hatebreed summer tour in the States in, gosh, I don't know how long, probably since 2009.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sitting out here. It's still 103 degrees, but thank you so much for
we got a little breeze. It's nice. And
taking the time to meet with us.
My pleasure. Yeah, good luck with everything.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was our interview with Jamey Jasta. I really hope you enjoyed it. As we said before, we had a great time sitting down with him. Glad we got that experience. So we'd really just like to know what you guys thought.
Yes, so please reach out to us on Twitter. Our handle is talk_2_teaser. That's the main form of communication that you can reach Donna and I both. We are on call 24/7. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear any questions you have. It was just an awesome experience, and I'm just so glad to be able to be a part of it and to give it to you guys.
So in closing, really, I just want to know, Holly, what about you? I want to know everybody's favorite part. What did Jamey say that spoke to you? I especially liked hearing about how he saw the fan who said that she'd gotten through so much listening to his music. I think that's a great thing. Just shows how down-to-earth he is and how much he cares about his fans. So tell us what you thought about that and what your favorite part of the interview was.
You know, that's a great point. I love the fact that he was so humbled and just, whatever, easygoing with fans approaching him and everything like that. I would say my favorite part was whenever we had asked him about, how is he so positive and how does he remain so positive, and it boiled down to him just being, believing in himself. So I think that was I was just like, dang, that's deep, that's awesome to hear. So I would say that was the most favorite part, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, until next time, teasers, we will talk to you guys soon.
Keep rocking.
Thank you for listening to Teaser Talk. For topic requests and to connect with the hosts, follow @talk_2_teaser on Twitter. Keep rocking.